The Democratic response on all of this. Congressman Ron Klein joins us out of Florida. Congressman, what do you make of that?
Well, I think that we need to move forward. I mean, obviously the Congress spoke. It listened to the American people. Obviously a majority of the Senate, a majority of the House spoke very clearly that we need to change strategy. This 4 years has not worked. Many of our military advisors have told us the same thing. President Bush is not listening. So I think there was a very strong statement sent today that we're going to support the troops, whether they're in harm's way in battle or when they come home. And that's exactly what we did.
Do you think the war is lost?
I think that the problem is we've taken our eye off the ball. The strategy of continuing this continued way of dealing with a religious civil war is not working. We have a terrorist issue in this world. We have it in Iran, the possibility of a nuclear bomb. We have Afghanistan, where the Taliban is resurging. Osama bin Laden may be somewhere between there and Pakistan. These are serious issues. We've taken our eye off the ball, and we need to refocus.
All right, so taking our eye off the ball, is that like saying this war is lost?
No, I think what it's saying is we need to change the strategy so we make sure that we make the Iraqis stand up. The whole purpose of this, with the benchmarks that were approved by President Bush, approved by the Iraq Study Commission, were to say, listen, the Iraqis have got to take responsibility for their own country.
All right,
I think
so
every American believes that.
Congress, if this is the best they can do, I mean, I'm sure they're trying to. It's, I guess, debatable whether they're trying hard enough, but they lose 100 people a day or so over there, right?
Well, I certainly don't believe that. I certainly don't believe the Iraqis are doing everything they need to do.
Okay,
their government is not.
Let's say they are. Let's say they're doing everything they can. This is the best we can expect out of them. We just shake our heads and say, if that's the best you can do, we're out of here.
Well, I think we need to say this is a religious civil war. We need to obviously secure the borders and obviously deal with the training aspects, but they've got to stand up for their own country. Even General Petraeus said the clock is ticking. Americans are not going to stand for an open-ended war, which is preventing us from dealing with the terrorist issues in Iran and other countries.
So when Senator McCain said, sir, that it is very likely we leave there and all of a sudden the insurgents, Al-Qaeda, have a new base to launch attacks on us, do you agree?
Well, I think there obviously is a continued threat there, but I think the Iraqi people, the thing we've been hearing in Congress, is that a lot of the Iraqi people don't want Al-Qaeda there either. And probably left to their own devices, they would probably deal with some of that on their own. But we should also remember in Afghanistan, which everyone, Democrats, Republicans, all our military strategists, tell us they're expecting a surge, a Taliban surge. Al-Qaeda is a huge threat there. That's an open-ended problem right there, and we certainly need more support in our troops fighting on that battleground.
All right. Now, a lot of generals, retired and otherwise, sir, have told us that we leave there, there's going to be a civil war, and it's going to be nasty, and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, are going to be butchered. It will make Darfur look, I think, as one analyst put it, like a cakewalk. So if that is the case, and there's great galvanizing support for doing something about Darfur, down the road, if Iraq has deteriorated to that point, would Democrats equate what's happening in Iraq then to Darfur?
Well, I think more likely, we've been fed a lot of stories about what was going to happen in Iraq one time after the other. They're going to stand up after the defeat of and the killing of Saddam Hussein, which obviously was a worthwhile endeavor. They're going to be able to rebuild their economy. They're going to have a government. All those stories and everything that we thought we were told, and this latest one that everything's going to fall into total chaos, I don't think we can necessarily assume that. We have to consider all alternatives, and that's exactly what this strategy does.
But if we did have all-out civil war, as some in your party are envisioning, Congressman, and it does become another Darfur, would you equate it to be another Darfur?
Well, listen, I think as Americans, we all understand that we live in a world society, and we want to take responsibility and help. But when there's a civil war, a religious civil war that's going on, like it has in other parts of the world, Americans cannot be the first people to always stand on their own. We need to lead other countries. Part of the failed strategy of this war is we are pretty much on our own. When they talk about a coalition, you're talking about a handful of other countries that have less than 1,000 troops. We Americans are putting billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in. Our 3,000 men and women have been killed so far, and we need to have other people take responsibility, particularly the Iraqis.
All right, Congressman, thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you, Neal.